Show you. Let me show you. I mean, I've never actually read this before. My English is really bad. As she already said, at best, she would like to do some sports. She really likes the sport because, you know what? She could truly actually have fun, as I have understood. Because, you know what? I can actually, make turnaround and then make moves instead of sitting. It's just simply cool. Cool. Toll is really cool. I know. I don't really need to think about it. I just actually said the toll of German. Because, whenever I actually, went through this kind of work, I just accidentally read something written in German with no thinking. Because I really got the message toll, I said it. It's not right, really, a touching and a cool to actually see this classmate to truly help Lena, and they were actually being supportive of her. I know. And the secrets of the quarter of the defense. It's really easy. I don't really need to. I don't really read it. No, I just really didn't anything. In the greatest, quarter history of the European affairs, situated in the ultra-chic suburban area. Also, this is really decided most sensible, the west of the Paris, or the Parisian west side, is a very unique zone inside the Ile-de-France. This is the satellite area in the metropolitan Paris, where every word melted in together. I don't really need to. It's really easy. Each day, there are more than 250,000 people who actually, make their transition from one of the greatest, train stations of Europe. This, saturated space where, each morning there's so many different places, the officers and the people, and creek cross each other to actually go to their work. Or so many, armed people, and especially men and women in uniform, they actually would take up their jobs, who have actually worked all night long to clean up 3.3 million square meter of the bureau. I only guess, this is square meter and wrongfully typed. It should be a square meter. I don't know. We actually participate in the daily life of their multiple tasks amongst them by placing themselves. We actually follow their daily life for multiple days. I don't really need to. I really read something. Alia, of French Jews inside the postal card. Not playing. It's really been actually not allowed because of age limitation. You were not allowed to see spice. This is really a damaging stuff, and illegal weed, damaging stuff, and also not really harmful stuff, illegal. I checked this, not. That means this sense doesn't make sense. I do not check it. I don't really need to think about it. I don't really need to repeat it. Culture and Byron. How does it go with it further in the time of pandemic? The culture in lockdown. I don't really need to think about it. Many jobs are actually abruptly cancelled and eliminated, and many shows and schedules that were completely cancelled out. Or lots of artists are now actually being suscitated and supported by the governmental helps. But how does that actually function? Capriccio with the frontal rapport from the cultural sector faced with the lockdown. This is probably the most heavily affected, influenced by the lockdown, since there are no events going on. I don't really need to think about it. I'm really quick. I don't really need to. Samuel, it's just a name. Access to the belief community access. It's really easy. I really read something in German faster. The third, a halftime. Third halftime, Randall is riot. I don't need to. I really wanted to actually say that. No, I never repeated. No, it's not something that I have to repeat it. This must be really crazy. I couldn't actually think of the answer in English. I really immediately got the message like, I've already actually covered this before. This type of message, I had it done multiple times. I already, at the time I said it correctly as a third time providers, but this time I couldn't actually think of the word in English. That was really the reason. Don't get that wrong. I actually already covered this type of information because I had it done this multiple times. The only thing that I could not actually think of it was the third. Third, I cannot actually think of it in English. I'm not lying. My English, if you ever hear my English, right now, my English is very much shrunken. I cannot actually, have multiple expressions because I don't really study English for days. I do not really use a variety of expressions. That's all the reason. I already actually got the Twitter. I'll actually write it down. 그래서 좋은 거예요. Twitter. 이만 who got the meaning. Because I don't really speak English anymore, so I can't actually think of the meaning. From Lotto Luck to the life crisis, how these, winners actually, cope with the situation. I don't need to think about. I really read a German fest. These Boobats had already actually, made it done because they already won more than 8 million Deutsche Mark because of Lotto winning. The Focus TV surely has followed these Lotto winners who've been actually graced by their own winning of the Powerball. And what happens to the Bluebirds after that? How would they actually perform? How are they doing now? Nothing is, this much intensified and interesting and riveting than the truth. Reports over the themes, which actually moved Germany, already more critical and investigative and already actually close to home than ever before to be seen as an event that affects all. I don't really need to. Trump has, won such a thorough viewing luck. Trump and the Craftsman Stobel and the satire. I don't really need to think about it. It's really easy. And the Kessel and the Loire, this is really the reason. There are crazy lives in the Shetland. Culture making domains, cultural cultivation. Domains, the basic income. These are really the people who actually belong to the culture department. They are completely jobless at this moment. They actually demand the basic income. So they just actually use a piano to actually send out the anger in return of the protestation. This is their way of going on a protest. It's really easy, open relationship. We love each other in this way. We actually have a free relationship, threesome, and like the open relationship. I don't really read it. The mover for Pakun, this is really kind of, dirty, cheating, trying to pack up, certain several similar issues to pressure and fast track certain achievement. The generation, the year period, the passing by. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to think of anything, I'm not lying. Adore Gold. I really read something faster in German. Sometimes I can't actually think of English words. Words are leading in the goldsmith business is Switzerland. Definitely the most important selling point as argument. Every gold we carry comes from guaranteed, such an legal and ethical sources. Totally with no doubt. However, doubts are, constantly being there. They're actually being brought out. Just, CDF and soon reports on it. This is really high time for fair gold trading and the establishment. More info about the fair gold. You can actually check out this. The gold mines are already subject to such a corruption. Honey in space, Honig im Raumfahrt. Weiß das ich nicht, weil ich heutzutage verwahrt meiner Zeit für deutsche intensivierende Arbeit. Deswegen deutsche Wörter würden ein bisschen häufiger genutzt. Weiß das ich nicht. Manchmal ich vergesse, was das Wort im Englisch. Deswegen ich macht ein Fehler. Das wirklich. Dritter ist ganz einfach. But I can't actually come. What do we actually call it? Oh, third. I know. That's really the end. Almost close to 100-year centennial. The 100-year-old Lily and Marcel really had and operate, bistro. Lily and Marcel have, bistro. Bistro is a restaurant. Presque. Really, they're 97 years old. That means they're really close to just one step away from being 100, right? I don't really need to. Presque, no. Sweden, the other way through the corona crisis. I never made a mistake. Sweden is a Sweden. I never made a mistake. Sweden. That's really the Stockholm. I don't really need to think about it. I only actually read it 1 second. What else can I do about it? I never thought about it. That's really ridiculous. I never made a mistake. The Swedish regime definitely sets out a protection to actually at least, have a little tint on freedom against the coronaviruses. But at least, it just protects, many things for freedom. So how are those people in Stockholm or throughout the country coping with the situation? How would they actually deal with it? How would they actually try to live their life in the midst of somebody, makes a signal coming from the Sweden? Because they actually definitely want to, clearly protect, freedom. The regime itself is very much for protection of the freedom. And there are many ways to actually help and sustain the free activities. But the problem is there is a coronavirus. How would they actually, co-function together and cohabitate? Is really the case, Berlin under the Allied forces. That's really easy. The Besatzungsteil. Yeah, I don't really need to think about it. 6 packs in 10 weeks. 6 pack means, you're being a beefcake. I don't really know what else I can actually say. The 6 pack, just like the, Coke bottles type of, beef cake you have in your stomach. That's in English, a self-experiment. You must be really stupid not to actually know this. Is it truly possible within 10 weeks to actually build up on a 6-pack to tighten up your abdominal muscles? Galileo Robor, Jan Frysovsky truly takes up this challenge and tests oneself to go through this intensified fitness program at home to see what type of effects one could actually create to really turn into a beefcake. Beefcake is really kind of a person. Beefcake, in case you know this expression. Having 6 packs of Coke bottles, Coke cans, perfectly, Coke bottles, Coke cans, right? You have, a 6-pack of Cokes. It's really easy. You must be really stupid. Not toxic. I really read the German faster than Korean.